Hello, my beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor, bringing you another video on how to raise your vibration so you can live your best life. I hadn't moved the microphone close enough yet, so thought I'd make it dramatic. All right, so this is a vlog episode. I have not done a vlog update in quite a while. I think it's been about 2 months. 2 months to the date, maybe even. But I had some really exciting things to share. I've been traveling the last week or so and experienced a life-changing event that I really wanted to share with you guys. So I don't have any notes. I don't have a plan. Just kind of gonna go with what comes and deliver that. So I went to something called Funnel Hacking Live in Orlando, Florida. I left a week ago this past Tuesday, um, and it was amazing. So Funnel Hacking Live. What is a funnel? First of all, I guess I have to explain that. So a funnel is if you go to Facebook or YouTube or Instagram and you see somebody promoting you, hey, you want to make $1 million with your own business and have the laptop lifestyle and the freedom and the money and the cars and the da, 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 da. Click this button for a free PDF to teach you how, or whatever they say, right? They've all got their own strategies. But essentially, when you see that ad and you click on the button for the free thing, it takes you to a page where you submit your email, and then maybe there's a training, or maybe it's a challenge, or a free training in Facebook, whatever it is. That's called a funnel. So the funnel is from the ad to the next page, to the next page, to the next page, to the next page, where they are hoping you eventually buy something, right? So the man who, or two men who started the company initially, the first company to create a funnel builder, his name was Russell Brunson, and his partner Todd. Oh my gosh, Todd, I'm sorry if you ever see this. I'm going to forget your name, your last name. But Dickerson, Todd Dickerson. I didn't actually find it to look it up. It came to me. So Russell and Todd built the first company to create funnels for you. And many, many people, hundreds of people, are we at hundreds, or was it even hundreds this past year? Hundreds this past year made more than $1 million with their funnel. And so this is a big deal, right? Especially for those of us who are coaches and course creators trying to disseminate information. That funnel facilitates that for us. And I thought that I signed up to go to this event to hack my funnel. It's called Funnel Hacking Live, right? I'll be honest, when I first signed up, I really thought we were going to be working on the funnel there at the event. A small amount of disappointment when I realized that it was a marketing event, and there wasn't going to be live in-person hacking of the funnel. But that's okay, because I quickly realized the roster of people that they had invited to speak were amazing. And when I first sort of had that desire to go, it was a soul urge, right? It was an intuitive hunch. It was divine guidance, whatever you want to call it. Something in me said I have to be there, and of course the money for it came through right when I needed it, and the stars aligned, and as you know, these things happen. I was meant to be there. So going into this, just feeling really grateful. The last couple of weeks, I would say the 2 weeks prior, there's a lot to do. I'm starting a master's program for psychology, had to get that application done and the orientation and all that stuff. I've got kids, I'm a single mom. I had to arrange childcare and someone for my dog, and my mom's coming to stay with the kids. So then I got to get the house cleaned and all the laundry done and that, right? So very, very busy leading up to the event. And yet there was sort of a building, and I guess somehow the large to-do list to get there also partnered with this just a soul urge, a knowing that this is really, really important. They kind of built together, and I think amplified each other. And there were many nights where I couldn't sleep, and I felt like, oh, it must be excitement. And there just became, over time, a growing, overwhelming sense of, just a whole body buzzing, like this is life changing. And as I sat in, and if you follow me on Facebook, you'll know, as I sat in the airport, I held my coffee and I took that picture and I posted it, and I said, have you ever had that moment where you know that from this point on, your life will never be the same. If we're at a crossroads, and I have made the decision to go down a really big path. And as I was getting on the plane that day, flying to Florida, the excitement, I had, just a few hours of sleep, multiple nights in a row before even going there. I'm on the plane. It's a 3-hour flight, 2.5-hour flight. I should have been able to sleep. I couldn't sleep. And it just, this bigness, the bigness is the only word that I can come up with that really explains how massive I knew this was going to be. And even to this day, I still don't really have the evidence, and I'm not worried about that because I've always had a knowing. Even as a little girl, I knew what my path was partially going to look like. So that soul urge and that knowing. So I got there. It's really exciting. I haven't slept, can't sleep. Finally, I show up the day before. I'm in Florida. Mind you, I live in cold Wisconsin. It's literally 50 degrees outside, cold and rainy now. I'm in beautiful sunny Florida, and 5-6 days and never went to the pool once. That's how engaging and exciting this was. And so the first session, the first day, Russell Brunson is sort of the attractive character, and Todd Dickerson is sort of the person to make everything happen on the back end. And Russell started to speak, and I've heard him speak before. I know a little bit about him. I've followed him for many years now. And he started to mention God and purpose and making a difference in the world. And I was like, yes, because that's everything I'm all about. If you follow me, it's all about trauma healing so you can step into your purpose and make the world a better place or make a living with your purpose, right? And so I was like, yeah, that's awesome. I love you, Russell. Thank you. No surprises in what he said because I've heard this before. But what did start to really open my eyes, and when I really started to hear one person after the other deliver similar messages in a similar vein, it started to click. That bigness, that feeling that I felt was not because it was about me, thank God, is because this was about the collective whole. That something massive is happening. The shift is happening. And these people in this place are part of the New Earth construction team, the change makers who are really going to assist in creating heaven on earth. And I know, as a person coming from the corporate world, being either the conductor of or participating in many marketing events, I understand what goes into it, what it takes to organize this. And I know that Russell, being, a God-fearing man, likely will choose people who are also similar. But I also know that these speakers, they put together their own speeches. Yes, they may coordinate with Russell to ensure that it's going to serve the population and to ensure that it's in the same vein, or, I guess to serve the population is really the key. But Russell's not going to sit there and write the script for their speech. These people are intelligent enough, respected enough to bring their own speech, to bring their own message. And in order for that to land for the audience, it has to come from them. So I know that what was delivered over the course of 4.5 days was not planned, other than by our source creator. And person after person after person after person, in one way or the other, said over and over and over, there is an intelligence, there is a God, there is a creator, there is source energy, there is the field of full potentiality orchestrating what is happening. That you are not an accident, you are made with purpose and intention, you are here for a reason, you have a gift and the world needs that special gift. I mean, just in every possible way you could find to articulate this message, it was said. All the different angles that you could look at something. And it almost makes me want to cry because it has been everything I've dedicated my life to this past year, but felt at such a core, deep cellular level my whole life. 7 years ago, when I first left the corporate world to start a business, and I sat down and I asked, for guidance on what that looked like. What was I meant to do? Even before that, go back, God, 10 years ago, probably 10 years ago, when I hit the highest levels of my corporate career, when I knew that I had managed $1 billion portfolio and that the next step had to be director or executive, and I didn't want to do it. When I realized that in the corporate world, I was never going to be able to make a difference like I thought I would when I first graduated college, that the ROI was always going to be the driving force in the corporate world, I asked myself that question 10 years ago. What does the world need? Who am I here? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? And that vision, kind of like the Harry Potter lunchroom, where it's just a mile-long table filled with kids at a school that I had created, where they were all identifying their purpose and thriving, and the vibration that would come from that school because they were living their purpose and at their highest potential. To have that vision 10 years ago, to try to do it 7 years ago, to leave it and walk away 3 years ago, only to be reminded that this soul urge is never going to let me rest until I step into what I was made for. And I did that fully a year ago. A year ago, July. And my life has never been better. While being poor, leaving a 6-figure corporate career behind, divorced, leaving a toxic relationship, becoming a single mother again. My life was never better. And to hear that reiterated over and over and over. I don't even know how many speakers a day. Gosh, it had to be over 10 speakers a day. And I will say, honestly, maybe 3 or 4 throughout those 4.5 days didn't speak to this. Or maybe they only spoke to one aspect of it. That there are people who are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And you see them on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. And they're talking about how to make money, how to start a business, how to do real estate, how to be an influencer. They're not talking about God, but when you get there and you're in this room with them, not a single one denies what is the most important thing, and that is to recognize your Creator, to recognize your purpose, and to make a difference in the world. And that is the exact same message that I've been driven to deliver. And I call this a vlog because I don't come here to talk about myself. And I have even had this feeling over the last 24, 48 hours that, yeah, that can sound really egoic. That can sound like I think I'm hot shit. But the fact of the matter is, it's not mine. And I didn't make this happen. I tried to do it on my own. I tried my whole life. I'm 43 years old. I tried my whole life until about 1.5 to 2 years ago, where I finally surrendered and said, okay, Creator, Source, Divine, Universe, that spirit that I'm searching for, that I'm seeking, that's God. And when I said, okay, I can't do this on my own. I wanted to leave 10 years ago. I left 7 years ago. And it didn't work. I was doing it on my own. I had to go back. 3 years of, again, continuing to try to do it on my own while also working a corporate job. It didn't work. But when I finally said, okay, thy will be done. This is not me. I'm a conduit. I'm a facilitator. I draw it in and I pull it through, but at the end of the day, it's not me. But I'll tell you this, it does not in any way diminish the tremendous joy and bliss and fulfillment and peace that come from it. That yet, it's my purpose. Yes, it is my purpose. I was made for this thing. Sure, at the end of the day, I can say I'm good at it. but it's not mine. It's not me. I can't do it on my own. It doesn't diminish how fun it is. It doesn't diminish how powerful it is. It doesn't diminish how fulfilling it is, or how much peace it brings, or how much joy it brings. In fact, it amplifies those things, and it's everything I ever sought. Everything I was seeking is in that connection. To finally saying, I recognize that Source is my creator, is the divine, is the universe, is the full potential field of full potentiality, or however you say that, is the field, I think they say. It's my father, it's my mother, it's my lover. And it's not woo-woo. It's not just for spiritual people. In fact, some of the biggest, brightest brains out there understand it. And when they're in a room networking, they're not talking about their private jets or their multi-$100 million mansions. What they're talking about is changing the world. What they're talking about is making a difference, making an impact, and doing something that matters. That their purpose is contribution and service. And it's interesting, I'll say this in this vlog. It's not a formal announcement about the channel yet or about any of my work yet. Ooh, I get some butterflies when I say this, or about to say this. I am not sure how I will pivot because of this, but I do know I will pivot in some way. And the reason is that I have spent the past year working mostly with spiritual people, whether that's religious and spiritual, or spiritual and not religious, doesn't matter. I like to say kind-hearted, good-hearted people. Some people would say starseeds, light workers, doesn't matter. I still feel that it is my calling to serve them, and I do think that there is a nuance to that, maybe a further niching down, if you will, that many spiritual people are committed to their current state. That the familiarity of victimhood, or just a lack of desire to do what it takes to fully step into your purpose, that holds this community back. And by I say this community, if you're subscribed, I will always consider us family, but there is a portion of us who will actually do the work. That it's not for the faint of heart. That it's not manifesting from your couch thinking positive thoughts. That there is action required, there's commitment required. And I realized this over the last year that I've been doing this work, year and a few months. Is I'm not I'm not normal, I guess you'll say. I'm maybe part of the crazy pack who thinks they can actually change the world. That I am an entrepreneur as much or more than I am a spiritual woo-woo person. In fact, I've never fully wanted to identify as woo-woo because it feels too practical. Because the things that I teach, yes, for some time they were considered woo-woo. They were considered spiritual, but they're necessary. And not everyone spiritual identifies as entrepreneurial. That it takes a special kind of person, the tenacity, the perseverance, the refusal to give up, to keep trying, to keep pivoting, that it is required to fully self-actualize, to fully step into your purpose. Now, I don't think that my target market is just entrepreneurs, but I don't think my target market is just spiritual people. What I'm asking for guidance on is how to best serve the spiritual community and awaken the entrepreneurial spirit within it. So I'm not going to go too much deeper on that because I'll just start thinking out loud trying to answer that question. And I think it's mostly there that we need to niche down even more into purpose-driven spiritual entrepreneurs. I want so deeply to be able to communicate the massive level of potential that is being realized because of these people in this room and will continue to be amplified. That we are at a very pivotal moment in the history of humankind, the human race. That as we have progressed over the last 100 years, we have compounded a small amount every year, and that creates a bit of an upward trend in our growth curve. But what happens with compounding progress is at some point you hit an exponential growth curve. That means we've gone up for quite some time, but at some point, right about where we are now, we are going to compound our growth. What that means in different languages, what's happened in the last 100 years will be amplified immeasurably over the next 10 years. So the progress we've made in the last 100, we will make more progress in the next 10 years than we have in the last 100 years. That I don't want to say that like now's the time, and if you don't step into your purpose tomorrow, you're going to get left behind. But there is a window, and that window can be missed. And what I discovered in this event, this experience over the last week or so, was I finally was in the room with people like me, people who are not just talking about purpose, not just talking about making a difference in the world, but they're doing it. They have self-actualized. They have made an impact in the world. They have identified their purpose, and they're living it every day. Those are the change makers. Those are the 1% that people think are crazy. They don't fit. They're not normal. They're the odd man out. And they were okay with that. And they maximized their potential, and they did it anyways. And I really, in this moment, I hope and I pray that our community is ready and willing to step forward sooner than later. That this exponential growth curve can go a positive way or it can go a negative way. And I say that, and I know that it's going to be positive. And I want so much. I want so deeply for our community to come along. I want to take my arms and wrap around all of the people, all of the subscribers, all the Facebook friends, anybody I've ever talked to, and I just want to bring you with me. I want to say, come with me, come with me. But I can't do it for you. And that's, I think, kind of what, it's that small amount of concern, or I don't want to say fear, but I just wish I could convince you how amazing it is when you do it. Just do it. Face the fear. Get help with the trauma. Remove what blocks you. And don't try to do it alone. Connect with people like me, people in our community. Get the help you need to overcome this thing. If you know, right, we know at this prefrontal cortex level, we know in our intelligent brain, I have a purpose, I'm here for a reason, I have a block, I need to get over it, I know what I need to do to build this business, but I just can't seem to make it happen. This glass ceiling of can't break through, I tried, I failed. That's complex trauma. That is healable. That takes me, a stick, and a couple of hours, and you are on your way. It's not hard. It's not painful. It just requires the commitment, the willingness to look at it, the willingness to show up, the willingness to raise your hand and say, I need help. It is not a lifelong path of healing. You do not need to feel ascension symptoms every day, all day long. It works. It's possible. I've lived it. I watch my clients live it every single day. Your purpose is just around the corner from a brain spotting stick. And I'm being a little bit ridiculous on purpose because I love you guys and it's so easy and I want you to come along. It literally is a 5-minute conversation with yourself, a willingness to say, I'm going to do it, asking the question, remain as king. When you ask the question to the divine, how do I make this happen? How do I find the money? How do I invest in myself? That's it. You're done. Swipe the card that says, this is my path, I'm going forward, and you're done. It does require you showing up. It does require you acknowledging that you're valuable and worthy enough for investing. It does require that you overcome the belief of, I don't have enough money. Because really, at the end of the day, anytime you ever say, I don't have enough money, what it means is you don't value it enough. You don't see it as important enough. Because if somebody said they were going to give you $1 million if you accomplished XYZ, you would figure out how to make it happen. Show up for yourself. Invest in yourself. Commit to your path. Take demonstrable action. What that means is demonstrate. You have to take action that demonstrates your commitment to the path. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. What you're doing is not working. Try something different. Wake up your purpose. Wake up your soul. Wake up your path. Wake up your desire. Wake up your motivation. Wake up your commitment. I love you guys. I want you to come along. Come with me. Come to the other side. Join me on the other side. I promise you, I will meet you with open arms. Okay. Way, way longer than I ever imagined it would be. So this is exciting stuff, you guys. The world is shifting and changing. We are creating heaven on earth. Come to the other side. All right. I love you guys. I really, 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 really do love you. You're huge. You're big. You're beautiful. You're awesome. You're amazing. It's time to let the world see it. All right. I will leave you with that. Like, subscribe, share, leave me an emoji comment. Yell at me if you must in the comments. Tell me I'm too serious. I'm not fun enough. Whatever. I don't care. I'll be here when you're ready. All right. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.